Recording in progress.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. And before we get going in our process, let's maybe open it up to share experiences or questions. You can unmute yourself or type in. Go ahead and fire away.
And just class related.
Yeah,
right?
just class stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey there. At the end of the day on Sunday, you were checking in, or you asked a question about, was anybody hearing a ringing sound, or
Mhm.
is that if this is the right term, frequency unique to an angel, or not necessarily?
So frequencies can be other things as well, like deities, things like that. It's usually a very strong energy, a spiritual energy, but
Are they different between angels or between deities, or is it a particular frequency that encompasses that kind of
I
energy?
mean, from angel to angel, it'll be a little bit different, and between deity to deity, they'll be a little different. So it's not always going to be the same one. Like when I invoke Raphael, a lot of times I hear a very specific sound, and I could go a year without invoking it, and I invoke it again, and I hear that same sound. And so, but if I invoke a different angel, I may hear a sound, I may not, but if I hear a sound, it's usually not the same.
Not the same as the one you hear for Raphael,
Mm-mm.
but it might be consistent to another angel.
Yeah. And sometimes, we might hear a sound and we might not know what it's for. And it's not just like tinnitus, you know what I mean? It's not like a ringing in the ear. You feel it kind of like higher up. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think you know what we're talking about. That even in meditation with mantra, sometimes you'll start to hear an inner sound, like when you go real deep, you'll start to hear a sound. And even creative energies and things have a sound or a frequency.
And what if you think you are having that experience even though you haven't invoked
Yeah,
an angel?
it doesn't always have to be the same. Like doing the process. It could just be that you're doing it and it just starts to happen. Again, in differentiating between like hearing the ringing in your ears here, which is tinnitus, it's usually like higher up, like it almost feels like above your head a little bit. And I mean, I would just be conductive, lean into it. If you're driving a car, don't start meditating. But like I've a few times pulled over just so that I could have the experience.
Thank you.
What's been your experience? It sounds like you're kind of processing something.
Well, since Sunday, many times when I've been quiet and still, it feels as though there's that frequency that's not tinnitus. It's close,
Right.
but it's not exactly in my head. It's kind of around my head. But I don't know that I'm doing anything to intentionally draw it in. I mean, a couple of times I've been in meditation and sending healing energy to someone and feeling very connected, but it also feels present sometimes when I haven't really intentionally tried to do that.
So the thing that I would say about that is, the work that we've been doing over the last few months is definitely something that would heighten what we call like active clairvoyance and the intuitive processes. And so your ability to tune into it just with what you've done with us has heightened, but you also have other practices that, sometimes they start to overlap a little bit and heighten your ability. So clairvoyance can also turn into like a clairaudience or different versions. I mean, there's even times where I'll I'll smell things like that's like it's a type of clairvoyance as well, because you're basically turning on your senses to a much higher degree. And sometimes I'll smell very sweet smells, and sometimes when I'm around dirty energy, it smells nasty and nobody else smells it, but like I can smell it. And it's not just my BO, like it's you know other things. And like that sense isn't always there. It kind of comes and goes, but it's still, it's something like, and it turns on sometimes at weird times, and it's not like I'm trying to do it, but that's the way kind of intuition is sometimes. Is um sometimes it runs on a little bit of a different clock than we do.
Okay. There was a moment sometime since the class this weekend where there was what felt like a snippet of cartoon characters talking. And then and am I imagining that? Is that a particular frequency I tuned in? It just happened once and it was brief, but it was
Cartoon
odd.
characters. So
Like a squeaky little voice, kind of, but it seemed more than one entity in a way. And then I wondered if I was just making it all up.
Did it sound human or just?
Well, sort of human, but sort of like more, I don't know, animal spirit, fairy, not quite human.
Okay. I mean, it's a thing where like sometimes you just also have to kind of sit with it sometimes, because it could be like you're picking up maybe a nature spirit or something, given the kind of the sound and the tone. But also, I mean, this is going to be a harsh thing to say. It's not harsh towards you, but I'm just going to say it's a harsh thing to say, is that sometimes when you're walking around in the general public, it can stimulate some of the senses and something like that. One of the things that I'd at least visit is a lot of times, I'm saying this just in the general population, people are pretending a lot. They're not being present, they're not being genuine. They're they're kind of pretending. Master Choa used to refer to it as children playing with dolls. Like he said, there's a lot of that in the world. And even that has a little bit of a sound. You know what I mean? So I would pay attention to it and just see if you can't start correlating it to something, but just almost like how you would observe your body. Observe when you hear that sound. Observe when you sense something, because when we try to reference it with our mind, we're going to that place of logic, and logic isn't going to see the nuances that the intuitive mind sees. And so sometimes you just kind of have to sit with it and wait for more of a realization than a figuring out,
Right.
if that makes sense.
It does. I didn't want to go to the logical mind, and I also
Yeah.
didn't want to dismiss.
It's hard to not do it sometimes, because you're like, what is that? I think I can figure it out. Is it this or is that? I still catch myself doing it all the time,
Okay.
but if you kind of sit with it, because there, even with clairvoyance, I mean, this brings up, I don't know how we got on clairvoyance, but probably because that's where my mind was at. But we think of like, okay, I can see something, or now we're talking about being able to hear something, and something to, you smell a weird smell sometimes. And sometimes it's touch, like I know a person that is very sensitive and very in tuned. And if you ask him to look at something, he'll look at it, but he doesn't really get it. But he'll go, "Can I hold it?" And then when he holds it, he gets all kinds of crazy information. And so for him, the information comes in from touch. And so even when he wants to like do a healing on a person, he'll say, "Hold out your hand," and he'll kind of hold your hand like this. And he'll look at the hand, but he's kind of, you can see he's just waiting for information. And then he starts asking me questions, but it's all through touch, so different kinds of information will come in depending on the person and some of the qualities that you kind of cultivated. Sometimes they kick on their own, and sometimes it's just the areas that you worked. But given the level and degree of your meditation and Buddhist practice and everything, I would not be surprised if other things turn on just with a gentle little nudge. I would not be surprised at all.
As you were talking about the touch, all these little sensations in my body just went off. And I
Yeah.
have often felt this incredibly light sensation on my left cheek, almost as if someone who's not there is giving me a little kiss, but it's not even contact. It's more like a little bit of air moving by.
Right.
But it's happened enough times that makes me think I should pay attention to it.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if this is just coincidence, but the person that I know that is very, I don't know what you would call it, where their intuition or their, what we would call clairvoyance, how they get information is through touch, is Buddhist. I don't know if it's tied to the practice or it's a little coincidence, but
Thank you for all this. I will keep tuning in.
And then go ahead, Tracy, then Sonia.
Hey, Miss Tracy.
Good evening. So I had an interesting experience Sunday night. I'd gone to dinner with some friends at a place, a very old restaurant here. It's been here since the 70s, I think. And they don't really.
You just made me feel really, really old.
I know. Sorry.
I've been here since the 60s. So
yeah, but it's like they just keep putting things in there, but they don't really take anything out. But it's still got a good ambiance. But it's got a lot of stuff. And so when I finally got ready for bed and I was lying there, I was asleep with the sleep mask on, and like I could feel stuff in the room, and I'm like, oh, I need to look at this. So I take it off and I'm looking, and it wasn't particularly bright. It wasn't like really light filled. It was just moving throughout the room, and like sometimes there'd be a number or something, and then it would change to other stuff, and it was just it was like stuff in the room dancing around me, and I just said, okay, I'm just gonna lay here and watch this.
How big was it? I'm curious.
It was, the whole room was filled, and I could feel it going past the room, if that makes sense. Like I don't think it just stopped at the room. It was just
your aura absorb, like this happens all the time. Now you're just like aware of it. So the aura when you're in the restaurant or wherever that building is, absorbed things that were in the environment, and then you came home and you were seeing the things in the aura.
Oh, cool. Okay, well that makes sense. That makes sense.
So sometimes it's nice and sometimes it's not so nice. So like when that's happening, just go jump in a salt bath. Either do a bunch of general sweeping or jump in a salt bath.
Well, it didn't feel that bad, and it was already like 2:30 in the morning. So
yeah. Sometimes it's not that it's bad, but sometimes it's like watching a merry-go-round or something. It's just like you won't sleep, you won't get some rest. You know, so if you feel like you're not going to sleep, then just go jump in the salt bath.
No, that makes perfect sense. And it makes sense that it was not necessarily like bright and
No,
or
it's just
wasn't even thought
both.
forms. It was just like
Yeah. Well, the general, again, not to be picking on the general public, but their thought forms are not usually super strong. And
okay.
so they just look kind of grayish or faded or,
Uh-huh. That's exactly what it looked like.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just thought forms for the general public.
It was very interesting. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And go ahead, Sonia.
Hey, Miss Sonia.
Let's get you unmuted again.
Is it open now?
Yes.
So spirits don't have feelings?
I can hear.
Spirits don't have feelings.
What's that?
Go ahead and repeat, Sonia.
I thought you said before that spirits don't have feelings. Is that, can you elaborate? They
Why
don't-
are we talking? Like, what's going on?
Do spirits have feelings?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's it.
Okay.
And go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Thanks, Sam. Hey, Greg.
Hey.
Hi, I have an interesting thing to share. So, I did parts of the class. I tried to do as much as I could, but things got in the way. So, but Monday, I met up with a friend to do an exchange, healing exchange. And I was doing healing on her. There was something radiating from her spine. If I were to give it a shape, it's like flames kind of exhausting out of her spine. So cleaned things up quite a bit. And then I noticed that Tracy, when I went home, I picked up some of it. So I started doing cleaning myself and I did sprayed myself all over with poplar.
Mhm.
So that settled. Then the following day, I mean, things are crazy at work too, but I just had this bout of anger. I'm like, where did this come from? I was so generally pissed off about one small thing in the house. Is it me just expelling stuff still from
Tell me a little bit of what's going on at work. Like, you don't have to
Oh,
give me details, but it's like
yeah,
a lot of stress, somebody's upset, give me an idea of what's going on.
yeah, a lot of people are, kind of upset because we launched this product and there's still quite a bit of confusion. So a lot of back and forth there. And also something got dumped on me where I had to do a presentation and travel last minute.
Give me just a second. Let me just sit with this for a minute.
Okay, thank you.
I got some good news. I got some bad news. I'm kind of joking, but the good news, it wasn't really you, but and I'd say part of this is you're perceiving something that's potentially coming your way. The bad news is you probably have a little bit of a conflict coming your way from a customer, and you're already starting to perceive it, and that's stirring up the anger a little bit.
Ah, okay. Well, there's a lot coming at
If you sit
angry.
and think about it, you might even know who it is, but it's somebody who you're gonna potentially have a problem with if you're not already having, some kind of problem with it.
Uh-huh. I think I know
Do you
who
have,
it
it-
is.
do you have it? You have any idea who it is?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this
Just
client
think of
has
that
been
person or
noisy.
that situation. And let me
Mhm.
just see.
It's female, right? The energy.
It looks like it's associated with several people, but
And they're already in my
it's somebody you already know. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah. I think whoever you think it is, that's who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, every day they spit out something.
But that's not somebody you work with. That's a customer, or
It's a customer, yeah.
yeah, it's
Or
probably
oh, it's someone I work with.
no, it's a customer.
Oh, it's a customer. Okay, yes.
Yeah, it is definitely a customer. But
Okay.
now that you kind of know, like, because when those situations come up, like we go more into like an instinctive response rather than how do I handle this in the best way possible? And you might not even know what they're going to present to you, but you know that I'm going to have a little bit of a problem with them. So, you kind of think of them, calm yourself down, like just thinking like, okay, they're going to come at me with this or that. And then if you potentially know what the problem is, just have a couple things chambered on how to deal with it. And if you don't, have a couple things chambered on how you manage it to walk away so that you can regroup and come back and not be like kind of caught in their crosshairs in the moment.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you tell
Because
me
it's like it's like an early warning sign. Like especially when you all of a sudden you have a wave of anger that comes up, that especially doing these practices, like if it's the general public, a wave of anger is just something triggered them, right? But like when you're doing these practices, a lot of things get calmed down. So then when you start to feel some sense of like all of a sudden this just little wave of anger pops up, you know, like tap into the feeling and go, okay, is it about somebody or is it this or that? And a lot of times it's something's coming your way and you're perceiving it. And
got it.
so, it doesn't mean that you can make it go away, but you can be a lot better prepared for it when it does happen. And at least you're not caught off guard.
Right.
Like I told you this story. There's this one person where, I wouldn't talk to him for long periods of time. And then I'd wake up and I'd be, this person, the last time we talked 4 months ago. And then I'm like, "God, why am I doing that?" And then they'd call me that day and say a bunch of snotty things. And I was like, that's why I was doing it. It was coming, it was already en route, so to speak.
Ah, okay. And one more thing I forgot to tell you. So when I was doing that with my friend and I noticed all these things coming out, that started the series of anger bouts.
Did it really?
Yeah. Not to the extent as the following day, but I get you what you're saying, that I'm feeling things coming because it's almost like before that email even hits my inbox, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
she's coming back at me.
And
He's
so
coming.
like when you're cleaning the spine, that's when you started to feel the anger.
Yeah. I think I was more angry that she put herself in a situation that caused that, but regardless, anger is anger.
Yeah. I mean that's always possible. Hmm. Yeah. Are you aware of the choices or the situation?
Yeah, I think I took
Yeah.
on some of her
That's what
anger.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. No, yeah, it's almost like,
it's a
yeah, when you're looking, I felt,
espe-
oh, it's that.
especially if it's a friend, it might be a little hard to watch,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I'm gonna salt bath my way out of it.
Yeah. And if you have Melissa, take some Melissa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Greg.
It's
Appreciate it.
sometimes that's a healer's best friend.
Ah, okay. Gotta put that on my next list, order list. Mhm. I
Or if you
have
don't have
some.
that, like smell some rose or some jasmine or something.
Okay, I have those.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome. You're so
And then go ahead, Sonia, and then we have some chat shares too.
Mhm.
Um, do I, where do I still have cords attached?
Um, you have one on the front heart, on the throat, the back solar plexus, the Mingmen, your liver, front and back side of your liver, your jaws, and up on the temples.
And there's none at the basic.
Um, no, you look okay on the basic.
I-
I mean, the basic's probably a little contaminated, it can get cleaned up a little bit, but it's cord wise, you're okay.
Okay. And, and you know, there's someone in my family who's connected with people from
Let's talk about the angel class though, if that's
what?
okay. We want to talk about the angel, like, is this about like processing with angels or something, or?
Well, yeah, I'm using my classes to process stuff.
Okay.
Some of the things I'm not sure what to focus on. I have sensory integration problems and I'm exhausted all the time. So it's really hard for me just to open and see things, but things happen. Like I saw a glimmering light at the other day and after one of the classes, and then it ended and I heard this tone and then it stopped
Oh,
and I heard
nice.
a different tone and I heard several. That happened a few more times and after a while it happened again. Yeah, I mean, I get that kind of stuff a lot.
Do you have any of the oils? I'm sure you do because you've done a lot of the classes. Work with sandalphon.
Okay. It,
Like do the process that we're doing, you know, at the end of the booklet, the 6 and 7, but do it with sandalphon.
and the booklet, which one?
The one that we're doing the study group for right now. You know how we use Raphael and Sabriel on the weekend?
Yeah.
Don't use those and use sandalphon instead.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be very good for you.
You know, a family member he lives in Indonesia and he got in touch with an island where they do a dark energy. Is there any indication that's happening?
Nah, you're good.
Is it still attacking from?
No, you're good.
Okay. If no one's attacking, there's a lot more chords that are hitting me than there were before. Where
I think that's just the conflict, the stuff with your family.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, families, we all got them, you know?
Someone asks, Greg mentioned at the beginning of class on Saturday that alchemy turns lead colored aura to golden. I've heard a few times about monoatomic gold powder in the context of alchemy. Is Greg familiar with that?
Yeah. I've played with it a bit. I'm not super impressed, but it does a little something. We're doing something stronger, but it's interesting.
And just
I mean, trust me, like I played with it for a while. I kind of liked it, but we do so many other things that are a bit stronger that I'm like, eh, you know.
um, just so you know, the clairvoyance through touch is called clairtangency.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Clairtangency.
Mhm. Wanted to share my
I think I
experience.
went to school with a clairtangency.
Just wanted to share my experience with angels. For a
Mhm.
good chunk of time, I was waking up to the sound of doorbells. I thought they were timing me to see how fast I could make it to the door. But one time, instead of the doorbell, it was just the sweetest voice saying my name in my ear and then whooshing feeling back into my body.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. What a wonderful experience. Yeah. That's a very nice experience. Yeah.
And in response to the alchemy one, someone said thank you.
Yeah. I think I still have some of that, like, I'll have to dig it up and play with it again. Like I played with it I think it was about maybe a year or two ago. And, yeah, I tried it all kinds of ways. I think I even made a tincture out of it. Like, hey, Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the booklet, and we are going to go to page 9, which is the part with segment 6. And so in your kit, you're going to pull out Lantana, begin inhaling it on the sides of your neck. Just do the thing where you breathe with the angel. Long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the sides of your neck. And then be still. You're going to reach for that relaxation blend. You're inhaling. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. And then pause and be still. You're going to pull out the camphor, which remember is a 5 ml bottle. And you're going to take long, slow, deep breaths with that. Your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone. And then be still. Now pull out the Heritage Sage. We're pulling out the Heritage Sage. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the front solar plexus, the area below your ribs. Move your awareness to the back solar plexus. And then just be still. Pull out whatever angel or archangel you want to work with. It can be the ones from the class, or if you want to work with a different one, like we are having Sonia work with Sandalphon. If you want to work with something else, go ahead and grab it. And begin inhaling where you breathe in the essence. You're breathing it in, like you're breathing like a wind into your body. And then as you exhale, you're breathing something out. Breathe in the essence. Breathe out. Just releasing. Then pause and be still. The area between your eyebrows. You're inhaling with your awareness between the eyebrows. The back of the head. Your awareness is on the back of the head. The left side of the head, just the whole left side. And the right side. The forehead and the back head at the same time. Long, slow, deep breaths. And then just pause for a moment. Practice body awareness now. Put your awareness wherever you feel it in your body, not necessarily an ache or pain like where you have a bad knee or a bad hip, just wherever you feel it in your body. If it happens to be that spot, then okay, but if not, just wherever you notice something in your body. Inhale the oil. Put the bottle down for a moment. And we're just going to do just a little short cycle of Lama Yoga. Remember, it's the chin down, inhale up, exhale down. So chin down, inhale slowly, moving your head up. Exhale down. Inhale 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 up. Exhale down. Just be still. Pull out your allostasis band. Just follow along with awareness on this. Your awareness is on the crown. Taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. The right sole of your foot. Your left palm. Your right palm. The left sole of your foot. And the crown. And then just be still. Pull out that same archangel or angel blend. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the back of your throat, the middle of the back of your neck. Then be still. Let's do that one again. That one feels nice. Still in your back throat, still the angel or archangel. Long, slow, deep breaths. Your back throat. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Just be still. Now you're pulling out the balance blend. You're inhaling. Your awareness is on the cry. The left sole of the foot. The right palm. The left palm. The right sole of your foot. And the crown. The awareness is on the crown. Just pause and be still. Feels very nice, yeah. Very nice. Okay, you guys. Well, I hope you had a good session. We will be doing another study group with this. I just don't know when, but we will be doing it. We're going to rotate through some of the past classes and do an extra study group here and there. And I think several of you we see on the weekend for the 8 materializations of Metatron. So that will be something to look forward to on this weekend. So anyway, take care, you guys, and we'll talk soon. Take care.